Welcome back to 840 AD, 1,200 years ago or thereabouts, where Abu Nahm is again boasting about an endgame that he found himself in. He is once more facing Anonymous Guy's ancient Arabic cousin, Al-Anon. Now, this is ancient Shatranj. There are some pieces that you might not be familiar with. There's an elephant, which replaces the modern bishop, but it doesn't move like a modern bishop. It jumps 2 squares in a diagonal direction, kind of like a horse. It's a leaper, but it's a different shape. There's no queens because women hadn't been invented yet. Instead, you have the furs, or the advisor, and these move 1 square in any direction diagonally. So there we go. This is the situation that Abu Nahm is in. He's playing as blue. It's his turn to move and to win. You've got 10 seconds on the countdown clock. You can even pause the video if you like. Let's go. Okay, so your time's up. The move that you need to play in this position is to capture the pawn with the rook with check. And now the red king is completely trapped. He can't move anywhere. In fact, the only legal move for red is to capture the rook with the rook. But now Abu Nahm is just going to check again with the knight. But this time, red has 2 choices. He can either capture the knight with the furs, or he can move the king 1 more square along. So let's try this first. If he does this, it's going to be another check from the knight. The king has now 2 choices. If he goes this way, it's instant checkmate. These squares are covered by the knight and the pawn. You can't capture the rook because it's guarded by the king. If he goes instead back, the rook is just capturing the pawn here with check. It's covered by the knight. And the only legal move for red is to capture with the red knight. I'm sorry, but I must interject. This idiot over here got it wrong. There is 1 more legal move, so I'm just going to take you through that before I let him carry on. What a pillock. So as I'm sure all of you already spotted, you can either capture with the knight or you can capture with the elephant. However, if you do this, Al-Anon still isn't saved because the knight's coming to d3 and giving a checkmate. Back to the other joker. It's to capture with the red knight, and instead of capturing back here, you're just going to go to a4 and deliver a checkmate. This square is now covered by the knight, and this knight, in fact. This one is covered by this knight, and these 2 remaining squares are covered by this very strong pawn. So that's a very nice mate indeed. Let's go back nearer the beginning of this sequence, just to see what would have happened if instead of this king to d5 move, you in fact captured with the furs. Well, in that case, Nahm is just going to capture the pawn again, and once more, red has 2 choices. He can capture with the knight here. I have to interrupt again. He got it wrong a second time. There are actually 3 moves that red can play here. I'll take you through what he missed. So there are actually 3 moves you can do here. You can capture with the knight, or you can move the king aside, or the third choice, which the other joker missed, the fool, is of course to capture with the elephant. And if you do this, Abu Nahm is just coming to d3 again with the knight. The king has to move aside, and there is only 1 move for him there. And of course, you're checkmating him with the pawn. So very nice indeed. Let's get back to where the other idiot left off. Red has 2 choices. He can capture with the knight here, but then you're going to go to a4 with the blue knight, and the only move for the king is to move back to d5. You're going to check with the pawn, and you're going to come across 1 square because it's the only choice, and you're going to get checkmated with the furs, which is very nice indeed. I don't think we've seen a checkmate with the furs before, so that's very, very cool. If instead of capturing with the knight here, you instead move to d5, it's just going to be very similar. You're going to check with the pawn. The only move is to come across 1 square and again be checkmated with the furs. So very nice indeed. Well done, Abu Nahm. That was something to boast about. Now, it took me a long time to find this particular ancient puzzle. There's not very many of them left now that I haven't covered, but if you enjoy them as much as I do, drop me a like and a comment, and hopefully I'll be able to find some more for you soon. Regardless of all of that, I'll see you again next time for some action from 1834. See you then.